All right, making a little video of a stock GSR pump versus the ACL Orbit aftermarket high flow pump. And we took it apart and kind of dissected it to kind of see what's going on. First thing that you kind of notice is the width of the generator, or the rotor, whatever you want to call it. On the stock one is 9mm. And on the ACL one, it's 9.8mm. So if you kind of like take this and you put it side by side, you grab this one, you can see how the ACL one is slightly wider. See that? Slightly wider. So that gives it a little more flow. Now whether that's needed or not, who knows, but it has it. And then another thing you kind of notice, well, is it actually has like this, the plunger or whatever you want to call it, the piston, those are the same. I mean, they're like identical, nothing different about it. And then you notice this has two washers in it, and then the back plug is the same. If anyone's wondering, like, well, we'll get into that. First, let's look at this for people that don't know. So, this cover goes on here. Let me figure it out here. Like this, right? This cover goes on here, so you take this off, so it's all sealed up. And you have here, right, this is the oil pickup. And it goes, and this is spinning this direction. I'm sorry, this direction, right? So you can see like these cavities are small, and as it goes, it gets larger, right, to here. So it's sucking oil into there. Then it's like full size right there. Then it squeezes it out, and that's essentially pushing it into here. And then this is where it goes out this, and it enters the block right here. Right? And then you have this long tube going down here, right, which intersects there. And that's what this is. There's this plunger, or whatever you want to call it, piston, and then this bolts here. And this is a spring, and then this, you know, the oil pressure pushes against this. And what goes on is this goes way up here like this, and then as oil pushes it down, it goes like this. And then it pushes back out here to where it picks up, relieving the pressure out, right? Regulating max oil pressure here. So, you know, when you're at idle, this is up here blocking it, and it's getting as much oil as it can into the block. But then when you're at full RPM, like, you know how oil pressure kind of goes up to like 3 grand or 3,500, and then from 3,500 on, it's plateaus the pressure. Well, that's because it goes, and at that point this opens and bypasses and just, you know, brings it back, kind of like a fuel pump, where the access goes back into the tank for a fuel pump. Well, instead it goes back here, and then it's got to re-pick it up. So that's what's going on. So now this, so essentially this spring sets your oil pressure, and you can see this spring I measured when it's all the way up, the distance it is. I put in my my valve or my spring pressure tester, and at the seat it's 20.8 pounds for the stock one, and this and they obviously shim it, right, for a little more pressure. So this spring from the ACL with the shims is 26.4 seat. So just sitting there, you can see that rises pressure before it will open. Then I did how long I checked the spring and how long it took before this little part was flush with the opening on the side, right? And I took that measurement from the plunger to there and figured everything out. And the open pressure is 30.4 pounds on the stock, and the ACL is 37. And what's funny is they shim this perfect, so that coil bind with those two washers is exactly flush with the opening. So they knew that, you know, this spring coil binds and they can shim it up, those thickness of those two washers, and it works out perfect. And that's 37 pounds. So this setup is definitely going to give you more pressure just because of this. So if you were to take this spring and put it into this pump, you also would get increased pressure. But this also gives you a little extra flow too at low RPM. So it your oil pressure will be higher at idle just because this will generate more oil flow. Not because of this, because like I said, that's closed all the time. So just to get a little understanding, there's that. So there's all that stuff. So now you know this rotor's bigger, can flow more. You know that the spring's better. So this is generally, seems like a better pump. I just don't know what has stronger rotors, you know? I mean, you hear people breaking rotors possibly. So it's like maybe this metal's not as good as this stuff and people would break this one even though it flows more and all that because maybe they don't use as nice of a metal on the rotors. So, and then we got, here's the solution for you. So the solution we're doing for my buddy Matt, I'm doing my motor for my friend Matt Dolan. And you know, Matt Dolan, this is his old oil pump off his last engine that I dissected, and I wanted to see, because he said he always ran these and had good luck, and I'm like, just for fun, I wanted to see. And my friend Bam had this oil pump, which is Stock GSR, to dissect and compare. And I know with the 3S, which is what I'm familiar with, the Toyota stuff, this pump and this pump are the exact same. Like people have bought it and deciphered and took it apart and it's the same. So the fact that this one's different was actually shocking to me. So I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. So then I got him to, we got the boundary oil pump gears. So that way we have the bigger generator, the higher tension spring, and now we have better gears. So it's like the best of everything. And we got this. This is pretty cool, the box that it came in, right? There's the part number. And then it came with a record of assembly certification with tolerances and everything, signature and, you know, serial numbered, everything. I can't believe it's that crazy. But yeah, here's the gear. So it's pretty nice. So we're going to run, I'm going to assemble this in a little while. But we're going to run, we got, you know, like I said, a brand new ACL pump. And we're going to put that gear in and should be ready to rock. That seems like a really nice setup. And then I was looking at this. We're going to be running the Almanzar trigger setup. So he's going to have the 24-2 crank tooth setup, right? And then this sensor goes on it. And I noticed the sensor, when you put it on, it doesn't fit. It's hitting this ridge right here. So I'm going to have to grind a little notch there so that this can fit in here good and bolt down. So I'm going to start with grinding this notch, make all the shavings. That way when I take this apart, I can clean it and make sure that no shavings get in this gear. So yeah, I'm going to do that in a little while. Probably not going to make a video of everything, but you'll just see when I assemble his motor the rest of the way, you'll see this all done with this notch in here. So I'm going to notch this and put that gear in, and he's going to have, you know, 24-2 on the crank. And then here's the cam gear, and it's got the single magnet. So his cam pickup will be, you know, like the T1 trigger everyone talks about. It's going to be like that with just one tooth coming around to sync up sequential injection and the ignition. So yeah, this is it. That's what we got going on, and thought that was pretty interesting, everything I found. So I thought I'd make a little video of it, post. So there it is, the stock pump versus the ACL, and what you can do to the ACL to make it basically the best pump, I think. I don't know what else there is other than going dry sump. So thanks, guys. I wasn't going to video it all, but I decided just to add this onto it. So yeah, I just took an impact driver, got the 6 screws out. As you can see, there's no RTV or Honda Bond or whatever. They just press it and it's sealed like that. And now just pull out the gears and I'll put the new ones in with that lube. And that's it. So yeah, I'll put the new ones in, I'll lube it up, and I'll start the video again. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So I just noticed this, it's like shiny silver, and it has like a black finish on the back side. I forgot, I think that might be what we got. We ended up getting that wear treated thing right there. And maybe that's this on the back, I don't know, but it's pretty cool. So I'm gonna put that in, we add the grease, and I'll torque these bolts back down. And it's all prepped to go on the motor. Billet gears in. You can see the lube all in there. It's all cleaned off, and you can see the clearancing that's been done for that sensor. So this thing's ready. So there, I thought that'd be a little interesting video about the oil pump differences and what we did. So yeah, I hope this helps anyone else in the future if they decide on looking in the B series stuff.